You know, in world football, the landscape can literally shift in the blink of an eye. Right when we kind of thought the race for the 2026 Ballon d'Or was settling down, boom, a thrilling UEFA Super Cup clash comes along and completely scrambles the calculus. Paris Saint-Germain's recent victory, yeah, it wasn't just about tossing another shiny piece of silverware into their massive trophy cabinet, it sent absolute shockwaves through the rankings for the most prestigious individual prize in the sport. So today, we're diving right into the data to break down exactly how this one match changed everything and where the top 5 contenders are sitting right now.
So let's dive into the burning question on everyone's mind. Did PSG just decide the Ballon d'Or? I mean, when a team achieves this level of sustained dominance, it inevitably pulls its top stars right up those individual award ladders. To really get why the rankings shifted so dramatically, we've got to understand the catalyst. We're going to count down the top 5 contenders based on the very latest rankings. But first, let's take a quick look at the match that forced this whole massive shakeup.
The stage was set. The UEFA Super Cup, PSG squaring off against Aston Villa. The margins at the absolute highest level of European football are razor thin, right? And this match totally proved it. PSG drew first blood in the opening half with a goal from Kvaratskhelia, setting a super aggressive tone. But hey, Aston Villa didn't just roll over. Brian Maggio snatched a totally crucial equalizer right before the halftime whistle. The tension was just off the charts. Then, in the second half, Désiré Doué stepped up, scored the decisive winner, and sealed a super hard-fought 2-1 victory for the Parisians. Now that 2-1 victory wasn't just a fun night out. It actually marked back-to-back UEFA Super Cup titles for Paris Saint-Germain. And here's why that matters. This kind of sustained, unquestionable European dominance acts like a massive multiplier for individual accolades. When the Ballon d'Or voters are scrutinizing a player's resume, consecutive European trophies speak absolute volumes. It's the ultimate momentum builder. So how did this specific result impact our top 5? Let's kick off the countdown.
Section 1. The countdown begins with Mbappé and Rodri. We're kicking off our top 5 with a really fascinating clash of styles. The ultimate attacker going toe-to-toe with the ultimate orchestrator.
Sitting in the number 5 spot is Real Madrid and France superstar Kylian Mbappé. And honestly, to understand why he's here, you just have to look at this one jaw-dropping number, 10. That is the number of goals Mbappé scored at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. 10. Putting up double digits in a single World Cup tournament is literally the stuff of legends, and he practically single-handedly propelled France to a 4th-place finish. His sheer unprecedented scale of individual dominance is just staggering. And he didn't just score, he casually dropped 4 assists at the World Cup too. Mbappé made history by becoming the very first player to win the Golden Boot in La Liga, the Champions League, and the World Cup, all in the exact same calendar year. It's wild. The fact that a player with this historic, record-breaking resume is sitting all the way down at number 5, well, that tells you exactly how fiercely contested this 2026 award really is. Just one spot ahead of him is Manchester City and Spain's midfield maestro, Rodri. Putting their resumes side by side reveals a stark contrast that really gives us a peek into the voters' criteria. While Mbappé brings that historic goal scoring, Rodri brings absolute tournament mastery. He actually won the World Cup Golden Ball, the award for the tournament's absolute best player, after starting all 8 of Spain's matches. And domestically, he anchored Man City to both a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup. But there is a pretty distinct reason Rodri isn't higher than number 4. Despite his international brilliance and those domestic cup wins, City unfortunately missed out on the 2 biggest club prizes, the Premier League and the Champions League titles. In a race this tight, missing out on your domestic league and the top-tier European competition leaves a gap in the resume, and, well, the guys ahead of him were all too happy to fill it.
Moving right into Section 2, Trophies and Titles featuring Yamal and Dembélé. As we crack the top 3, the conversation shifts heavily toward undeniable team success mixed with some really vital individual contributions.
Coming in at number 3 is Barcelona and Spain's absolute sensation, Lamine Yamal. His whole candidacy is basically built on a foundation of pure winning. Domestically, he helped carry Barcelona to both La Liga and the Supercopa de España. On top of that, he was a massive piece of Spain's World Cup success. Now, sure, you could argue his individual stats at the World Cup were maybe a bit quieter than his direct rivals here, but listen, you simply cannot argue with a guy who collects major trophies for both club and country in a single season. It's a massive flex.
Which brings us right to our number 2 contender,
Ousmane Dembélé. It is absolutely crucial to remember that we are talking about the reigning Ballon d'Or winner here. He's actively defending his crown, and let me tell you, he has put together another utterly outstanding campaign for France and PSG to prove he deserves to keep it.
Just like Mbappé, Dembélé brought his absolute A-game to the biggest stage in the world. He racked up 6 goals at the 2026 World Cup, and guys, this wasn't just him stat-padding in easy games. This included a totally unforgettable, high-stakes hat trick against Norway. When you step up and perform like that under the bright lights of a World Cup, voters take serious notice.
But the thing that really pushes Dembélé up to number 2 is this perfect storm of international and club success. He's been the central driving force in PSG's absolute dominance at home. And tying this right back to how we started this explainer, his case got completely supercharged by that recent UEFA Super Cup triumph. This is that exact momentum we were just talking about. Winning back-to-back Super Cups with PSG provides the ultimate late-season turbo boost to a resume that already features a deep World Cup run.
So, if the reigning champ is only sitting at number 2, that brings us to our final section, the top contender, Harry Kane. Let's break down exactly how he claimed the number 1 spot on this list. 73. Just let that number sink in for a second. In modern football, where defenses are more tactical and heavily structured than ever before, scoring 73 goals in a single season is almost incomprehensible. It's like video game numbers. But that is exactly what Bayern Munich and England striker Harry Kane has gone and done, cementing his place right at the very top of these current rankings. Harry Kane currently boasts the absolute strongest statistical case of literally anyone in the world right now. And those 73 total goals didn't just happen in a vacuum. They powered the German giants Bayern Munich to a massive domestic double. On top of that, Kane's relentless finishing drove his team deep into Europe, taking them all the way to the Champions League semifinals. While the other guys have international trophies or Super Cups, Kane has an absolute avalanche of goals that the voting committee simply cannot ignore.
This brings us to the ultimate debate, Kane versus Dembélé. We are left with this massive clash of philosophies at the very top of the rankings. Honestly, it's a debate as old as the sport itself, and it's exactly what makes the Ballon d'Or so incredibly fun to analyze.
This final battlefront is basically the ultimate showdown of metrics. On one side of the scale, you've got Harry Kane, repping the strongest statistical case imaginable with those 73 goals. It's a testament to raw, unstoppable individual output. But then on the other side, you have Ousmane Dembélé, the reigning winner, armed with immense team dominance, a recent UEFA Super Cup victory, and super crucial World Cup moments. It's the classic showdown, individual numbers versus collective silverware.
But as we look at these rankings, we really have to remember the great equalizer. As our source material points out, the race remains fiercely contested because, and this is key, performances during the 2026 FIFA World Cup are expected to have a major influence on the final voting. With Mbappé's 10 goals, Rodri's golden ball, and Dembélé's 6 goals, the shadow of the World Cup looms incredibly large over Kane's crazy domestic records. The ultimate decision might literally hinge on how heavily the voters weigh that one specific, intense tournament against an entire season-long club campaign.
Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder as the award ceremony creeps closer. When you look at an historic anomaly, like Kylian Mbappé winning 3 golden boots yet somehow sitting at 5th, or Harry Kane's absolute mountain of 73 goals battling against PSG's European momentum, what actually matters more? Are we rewarding the player who dominated the stat sheet week in and week out, or the player who lifted the heaviest trophies when the lights were the absolute brightest? Stats or silverware? What do you think will ultimately decide the 2026 Ballon d'Or? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes on how this incredible race finishes up.